episode of Back and Board. I am Vlad St. Valentine, and with me is the host with the Ramosis, Mr. Caidan Ramos.
How you doing?
Dude, I'm great. How about yourself?
It's been a little bit better. It's too cold for me.
Dude, I saw this product the other day on television called kitten mittens.
Uh-huh.
Might work.
Really?
Yeah. Like, you can't walk on linoleum or like wood surfaces very well, but it will keep your paws warm.
Well, that's great.
I will send you some for Christmas.
Awesome.
And a Snuggie.
Sweet.
They make like death metal Snuggies.
I wish.
Like, I gotta imagine like Danzig would totally be that market. Like, a Snuggie with a giant like upside down cross or something on it, or
No, you got to get the Crimson Ghost Snuggie. It's just a red Snuggie with a hood.
But since it's a hood, or since it's a Snuggie, it's basically just a backwards robe. The hood goes on backwards, and it's got the Crimson Ghost face on there.
It's got one of the zip down ones.
Oh, you even need it. The hood goes on backwards because like the hoodie's not actually a thing. Someone had a bunch of bulky robes and said, just turn them around backwards and sell them to people. The person who invented the Snuggie was the person who didn't like to take shits in the morning cold. So they got up every morning, put their bathrobe on backwards so they could take a shit warm. I know because I've done it. Like,
That's fair.
And thus the Snuggie was born. Tell me I'm wrong. Oh, behind the producer stand over there, Mr. Reggie Lincoln, the one who matters.
How's it going, guys?
Good, man. We're talking to the side of that bitch.
Oh, yeah. How's it going, guys?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh, everything's all right.
All right, so we're going into the second part of our Joker War rundown. We're going with the main series of Batman and then the Detective Comics tie-in, and not the Nightwing, Batgirl, or Harley Quinn tie-ins.
Or I think there's one of the Red Hood issues is a tie. Yeah, there's a bunch of tie-ins for these because that's the way DC and Marvel are desperately clinging to those scraps. Just pump out as many different tie-ins so people who like me who are completionists, yeah, gotta dump way more money in these things than we should.
Hey, you got the opposite of me. I'm one of the variant ones, so I like spending money on the extra.
Yeah, but to be fair, every time I see your covers you get in and I didn't know about them, I am super jelly. Like, not even a little bit. Like, I am a jelly donut every time I see it. Like, what was the last one you got that was so fucking cool?
The Multiverse Who Laughs.
Oh,
the 1 in 25 cover.
Fuck, that was cool looking, dude. Yeah, I'm glad I could buy one of those 25 so you get your cover, dick. Fuck, that was cool looking. All right, so we're starting off today with what? Detective Comics 125?
Yeah, 1025, I believe.
What do I keep saying? 125, 1025. That's right. Yeah, so we wrapped up the last little story arc in Detective Comics with Two-Face, and we had that nice little ending with Matches Malone last week. So in this one, we're starting off with Joker thugs pinning down the GCPD. They've got a high ground in the cemetery, and they've got mortars and heavy artillery, and they've got the cops pinned down. But we start off with Batgirl riding through on her motorcycle, giving her a little monologue in her speech about what a badass she is and how she's going to just kick everyone's ass. And she just rides the motorcycle right in, full frontal assault, lets the cops, gain some ground and, reach her point, and they start taking out, the Joker thugs and stuff like that. Intense little battle scene. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
The monologue was definitely something that because it's a comic book, you just kind of go with it. But like now with the DCEU and the MCU going on, you can't help but sometimes read these things and see how they would be, how this dialogue would work with a real person saying it. And her inner monologue just was so fucking cheesy. But it's a comic book. It's a comic book.
Yeah.
Just let it go. Let it go. But it's like, oh God. Okay. All right. It's fine. It's fine. But Batwoman kicks some serious ass because, Batwoman kicks some serious ass.
Yeah.
Good little opening scene. Nicely intense. But we do cut to the thugs having Lucius Fox still, under the power of the poison here. And they're telling him to crank up production. They're, making like Batwing drones.
Yeah, they're 3D printing all these weapons.
3D printing weapons and drones. And it shows all the Bat thugs. Like like that scene from Guardians of the Galaxy where they're fighting the gold people or whatever, and they're all sitting there like their little drone control like pods or whatever.
Yeah, controlling.
It's just that. Yeah. But they've got bat wings that are painted up, purple with a little smile face. Yeah, all good shit. I love the way that Joker is like Jokerizing all the bat gear. Cause like all we get to see is like people causing havoc and him stealing Ace chemical supplies. But there's like a section of the Joker gang that's job is to steal paint and paint shit. Like it's got to be a large segment of it, right? Because they stole a bunch of gear. There's a ton of shit to paint, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be a good like quarter of his operation that's doing nothing but painting smiles and silly shit on everything.
That's probably the best part in the
Fuck, we're at
operation.
Dayglow green. Shit, where's the purple? Fuck.
We haven't hit the town or we haven't hit the store across town.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't want to drive that far. We gotta go through the Narrows.
The guy at Sherman-Williams is just fucking like looking at that fucking like bill going, man, at the end of the month, they're going to owe me so much money.
Well, fuck it. Joker has all the money. It doesn't matter anyways.
That's fair enough. I just bought the Sherman-Williams.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here. Until he realized he's got to place an order later on. He's like, oh, fuck. Who knows how to do inventory on paint? Anybody?
And he just buys the rights to the paints.
You still have people to make it though. Like you buy all the quantity you want to, but eventually at some point in time, no matter how high up the food chain you go, you got to learn how to actually make the shit. And it only gets worse the higher up you go, right? Because at the lower point, you're just figuring out how to order it. When you keep buying up and buying up, now you got to how to make the shit yourself. Fuck that. Like, can you imagine like the Joker, like trying to run a successful business with happy employees? He's like, we got to institute a worker of the month program. It'll really help boost employee morale. Sorry, the Joker voice scratches my throat.
That's because it's a scratchy voice.
Yeah.
You know what I think we should do? Secret Santa. Or white elephant gifts. That's what really boosts employee morale.
One bomb limit.
There's a 1 pie limit.
Custard, not banana. I'm tired of
I'm
banana.
allergic to banana. That's why I would never work with Gorilla Grodd.
It's a fair point.
All right, that's the best Hamill I got. All right.
So I do like that Lucius Fox is consistently still fighting the Joker toxin.
He is. He tried when he says when the Joker Thug gives the command to ramp up production, he goes over and tries to throw the shutdown switch, and the Joker Thug has to clock him with the gun and be like, hey, fucking do what you're supposed to do. He's fighting it. He's doing as best he can. Yeah. They definitely show that Lucius has got some willpower, and that's the thing about the Bat family. All of them, they're all. I think that's what kind of gets you into the group permanently is that display of willpower.
Yeah.
And the willingness to fight till the end. And so it seems like they all kind of display that in one way, even Alfred. So, well, except for Thomas and Martha. So the Bat drones show up at the cemetery after the cops and Batwoman had gained some ground and end up hitting him, strafing him. Batman shows up and launches an EMP attack and knocks out one of the drones, but a second one knocks him off his perch and kind of cracks his ribs, but the GCPD was able to take it down with gunfire. So they kind of regrouped from there. They were able to take out that position. But again, this position was only just distracting the cops from the rest of the chaos in the city because Joker is, the Joker war is going effective. He wants to cause, no matter what you do, no matter how you recover from it, the plan still goes as he wants it to, in that, chaos ensues. So, at the end of this is one of those stories that at the end of it, no matter what happens, you don't win.
No.
Just because it started and it got to this point, the Joker's already won. There's nothing you can do about it. You can stop it and just stop the bleeding, but you lost the arm. You're just throwing a tourniquet on at this point. And I kind of like it. Because I realize that they're trying to move into a new. I realize DC's fucked. And I realize that DC Comics is just barely hanging in there. And their last gasp of desperate man is this future state. And I hope that it finds an audience that really enjoys it because I don't want it I don't want DC Comics to go away. And I hope that even if DC Comics shuts down, that someone snatches up these licenses soon, because I still want to read Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I still want to read Superman. I find these characters way more interesting than I do Marvel. That's for damn sure. Marvel is great. I used to love Marvel when I was younger. Then eventually you get older and you start realizing that DC's got way more depth to it.
Yeah. There's more better storylines in DC than in Marvel.
And at the current time, and what's unfortunate is, and the only reason that Marvel's still sticking around in comic book form, because it's hanging on too, it's just because they got a little bit more, money from Disney. But Disney with their parks, which was the thing that kept them in business. But I mean, they've had major losses there too. They've had to fire shit tons of people. Like nothing's for sure anymore. You know what I mean? It may get to a point where like just like IDW and Image and those might be, maybe IDW might not even be last. It may just be like Image and Dynamite and a couple other people.
Yeah.
Maybe the biggest guys left, and they're licensing out, DC and Marvel characters for their shit.
Mm.
I bet Todd McFarlane would jizz his fucking pants to do Batman or to have Spider-Man team up with Spawn.
Yeah.
He would love to draw Spawn again.
Oh, I bet.
Or not Spawn again. We'd love to draw Spider-Man again. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I said Spawn. Spider-Man team Spawn is what I meant to say. Sorry. Yeah, and I would love to see a return to the 90s, Todd McFarlane era Spawn or Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I would love to see that shit. Not something I'm necessarily against. I don't want the character to be shelved. I just hope that
I don't think that they will be shelved.
No, but what I was saying with this is if you're going to a place where you're changing everything, you're moving to future state, this is one of those things, those endings of like the Joker making one of those big moves that just, it changes things where you can't really get things back to where they were ever again.
Yeah. Yeah.
We cut back to Lucius with the drones, and then Batwoman and Batman attack with the subterranean giant tank thing, like a la Justice League movie. Yeah. It's like, I like how the Joker took over everything and all the computers and has access to everything, but Batman still has managed just to squirrel away the exact giant fuck off machine he needs for every occasion. Maybe he's printing those down there himself too. Maybe he has his own laser printer and he's just been down there.
Yeah, he has to be. I mean, in our last video, we talked about Punchline having access to all 8 of his contingency hideouts in Wayne Enterprises.
Yeah. Where the hell did you keep that tank?
Yeah. Probably somewhere underneath.
Anyway, but he comes busting out. The tank has got like a Cyclops cannon on it because it does concussive blasts that don't hurt anybody but knocks them all out. They make sure they have to have that dialogue, and every time they start shooting big fuck off cannons at people, they're like, make sure you put a line of in there about how it just knocks them out, no matter how horrible it looks. It's like, just look, man, just get over it. Just get over the killing thing. Like, you're honestly like, because now you're creating the argument for all these people. It's like, oh, Batman goes around causing brain damage to handicapped people. Like, all the physical damage, the broken bones, and the brain damage through like concussions and knocking people out. Just fucking kill them, man. Just
he hits everybody with all those tasers, and you don't know if they have heart problems. They could have killed.
Yeah, just drop it, dude.
Yeah,
just drop the whole Batman doesn't kill people thing. It's a problem, and just fucking 86 the Joker because he's a pain in the ass. Just drop it. Like, you can't even justify it anymore. They keep trying to every time, and then it becomes a major part of the story arc because everyone who writes Batman realizes it's fucking stupid, and they have to try and justify it through some painstaking like morality tale that doesn't really play out. It's done. Just like, you try not to kill people, but sometimes you got to kill somebody. Like, sometimes shit happens. Like, quit making it such a hard on about it. It's kind of why I like how Jason Todd went ahead and just put a cap in the fucking Joker's head and 3 Jokers. Yeah. Fucker had it coming, man. But with that attack on Wayne Enterprises, they're able to shut down the printing machines and retrieve Lucius Fox and give him an antitoxin and start bringing him down, and he, of course, apologizes, but says he did the best he could. They're like, oh, it's fine. Of course you did, and Batman finally, we had this whole arc with like Batwoman. To me, the one problem I have with Batwoman, and it's not the problem necessarily with Batwoman, it's the problem with all of Batman's allies for the most part, because they all have this like, fuck you, Batman, you failed and done messed up things, and I'm going to do things my way now. I mean, I'll keep the moral code, but I'll keep wearing all your shit. But like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Red Hood has that attitude towards him and Batwoman has that attitude towards him. And it's just like, dude, it's kind of wearing after a while.
Yeah, it sucks, but you knew what you signed up for. You understand the reasons why they're saying "fuck you" to Batman, but they knew what they were signing up for when they signed on to be.
Yeah. It's like Batman needs to be better. It's like Batman has a contingency plan for almost anything in the entire world and can handle almost anything that's coming at him. I'm sorry that you're pissed off he wasn't a better daddy to you. Just fuck off, mate. I can't take it sometimes with the Batman disappoints me and I'm mad at Batman. I'm a hard ass vigilante who's morally superior to Batman thing. I don't know. We get it from Red Hood. We get it from Batwoman. I think he gets some of that shit from Nightwing sometimes too.
Every once in a while, and I think maybe Damien's brought it up with Talia, but
Damien's been a huge dick to Batman all the time. And then, Batgirl, even though she continues to work with Batman, she fucking high roads his ass constantly. Like, I think the last of her book was her going like full Antifa and shit. You guys suck at writing, some of you. I just wanted to point that out. But that's basically how we end this one with Batman telling Batwoman, it's like, hey, we need to work together on this. Just at least keep me informed of what you're doing. She's like, I'm going to go my own way. You do your own thing. I do mine. Rides off like a badass. And again, I know it's supposed to be cool and she's a bad, tough one. And this is her spotlight episode. But it's not her specifically. I'm just tired of the everyone pisses on Batman thing. So, but other than that, this was a good story. And this was kind of a one shot. The next one's kind of a one shot too. Or as well, not TOO, not TW. Never mind. And I don't like this one as much as the next one, the one with Killer Croc, as far as the Detective Comics tie-ins go. But the action was good in it. Her being shitty to Batman was a little bit off-putting, but that's just because everyone is that way. I think if she was the only one, you wouldn't really notice.
Yeah.
But not necessary for the overall story. This one, not so much, I think, as the Harvey Dent one and the Talon stuff. Again, these are all tie-ins. None of them are necessary for the main overarching thing, but I think that was showing how he was infecting even the other villains and he's tearing up people with the fucking talons and stuff like that, just how deep he's getting into things. I think that kind of showed more as to like how far the Joker was going into getting
how long he's been planning and
how far the roots are going into every part of Gotham's underground, every bit of it. You know what I mean? So like I say, going as far as to infect the Court of Owls, something that Batman didn't even know existed until how many years of his existence as Batman,
Yeah.
Something that had operated in the shadows of Gotham since its inception.
Yeah.
So, this one, not so much. This was just to like show off how badass Batwoman was basically. And again, to show off the chaos that was reigning. The main thing we get from here, though, as far as the storyline goes and what's most relevant, is that Lucius Fox was rescued and that they've shut down the weapons printing at the
Wayne Enterprises. Yep.
All right, man. Ready to move on?
Ready to move on?
All right. Batman 97, onto the main storyline. So we open up with Punchline and the underbroker on the docks. They got a bunch of chemicals coming in that they've bought legally. Like he's even like got a ship that was en route somewhere else and just bought the ship and just had it routed to them. And of course she marvels over how great it is to be rich.
Yeah. It's fucking great to have money.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. But they're taking the chemicals to Ace Chemical and she's telling the Joker thugs to take it. He's like, the Joker thugs like, we don't have any security. He's like, you are the fucking security. What are you talking about? Get the shit there. He's like, but we got past the Narrows and we've had like 12 dead clowns in the last week through the Narrows. We're terrified to go through there. And of course, she tells him, go do your fucking job, But we get a flashback to what's been going on in the Narrows. Of course, it's Clown Hunter. And we get a flashback to him. Like he's disabled a Batmobile with two clowns inside of it with a
transformer and a fire hydrant.
Do what works, man. And then just burns the two alive with a thing of gasoline.
With his own Joker toxin is what he calls it.
It was the antitoxin. And it's just gasoline.
Yeah, gasoline.
I want to like the Clown Hunter character, but something about him reeks of try hard.
We'll see how he develops over time.
Yeah. I don't dislike him though. I like the character, but I think it's just the whole like writing all in lowercase thing and crap like that. It's just like a little bit.
The lowercase Comic Sans.
Yeah, it's like when you go get the bad B action movie like right at, like in the late 90s and everyone's trying to be Quentin Tarantino. Like it's just like it just tries too hard.
Yeah.
So we cut back to the Monarch Theater where we ended the last issue, and Batman, of course, is fighting the nanobite controlled Joker toxin riddled zombies of dead people the Joker's killed over the years, and Joker's talking shit on the big screen and stuff. Batman, of course, is still losing his mind because he's got the
Joker toxin, the punchline toxin.
Punchline toxin in him. Yeah, her modified toxin. It's got venom and fear toxin and stuff in it too. So he's losing his shit and fighting zombies while the Joker is telling him, he's going to, because he's offering everyone $10,000 to come see the Mark Zorro.
Mark Zorro.
And he's
the
like,
remake.
I'm going to make everyone just like you and witness the pain. So I guess he's going to shoot everyone's mom and dad if they watch the movie. I don't fucking know.
No, he says he's gonna gas them.
He's gonna gas them, but like he said he's gonna see what they turn into and then gas them. So it sounds like he's gonna put them through a trauma and then gas them. I was like, is everyone's mom and dad gonna be there? And he's gonna shoot everyone's mom and dad and then gas? Like, it's a little convoluted, but it's the Joker. It doesn't matter. The Joker's gonna do something bad.
I guess his plan is to show them the death of Batman and show them that there's no more hope. And see what happens.
He doesn't want to kill Batman. I know he doesn't want to kill Batman because that's the end game for him. I don't think, I know Punchline keeps saying that, but I think Punchline, like most people who fall in with the Joker, don't get it. Ultimately, don't understand. Like, I think Punchline, just like Harley Quinn, wants to be the most important thing to the Joker, and she's like, "We'll kill Batman. We're gonna get him. That's our thing." Which, like, no, bitch. You're a second fiddle over here, man. It is the Joker and Batman, and you are just a tool to help him execute his plans.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can accept that, then there's a place for you. Harley couldn't, so she gone. But Batman's stumbling around, kind of losing his shit, and so hearing the Joker voice is getting in his head. So he launches a little batarang bomb and blows up the projector, and then detonates an EMP that disables all the nanobite controlled zombies, but it also disables his head radio, which cuts off the voice of Alfred he's hearing in his head, because I guess psychosomatically it's connected to, because he would always hear him in his radio cow. If the radio cow turns off, I guess psychosomatically that cuts that off too. Whatever, it works. But he stumbles outside and sees a vision of himself as a little kid and his mom and dad in the alleyway again. It's like, no, don't go down there, and passes out because we got to keep everyone reminded of that shit. And Harley finds him again. And of course she makes a comment about, it's like, oh, here we go again,
Yeah.
And I like the zombie fighting scene, the zombies, as the Joker was talking, the zombies in his head were turning into just massive amounts of Jokers and stuff. And I like the visuals and all this. Visually, this is a very, very good story. I find the Joker's overall plan convoluted as fuck, but that's the Joker. He usually is. But I don't think it really matters. It's just the amount of pain and torture he puts Batman through, and Batman trying to overcome and display those levels of willpower. I mean, and ultimately, as we've said before, that when things go to shit, the Joker's happy about it, because it's like the Batman put it, the Joker sees Batman as alive, and going through these motions and playing this game is what keeps them alive. And so, I mean, he's happy to keep doing this over and over and over again.
Yeah. If something in his plan goes wrong, that just kind of prolongs the plan and prolongs his dance with Batman.
Well, he expects it to go wrong. He never expects to win. He doesn't want to win. If he wins, we're done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
fair.
whenever, Joker's got Batman and Robin like dangling over a vat of acid. He knows he's going to get out because he doesn't want them to actually fall in that vat of acid. Like every time Joker like tries to shoot at him or throw something like deadly that could possibly kill him, he knows Batman's going to dodge it. He doesn't want to actually hit him. Like he wants to graze him, maybe cause him some pain and, and inflict a little bit of emotional trauma on him because someone just tried to, do something that could have killed the person. But
I think my favorite scene so far out of 97 is during the zombie fight scene. He kind of takes that blindfold and puts it on. He's like, the best bats know how to fight blind, and just starts whooping ass.
Yeah, he says he can't trust his eyes, so he's going to do it blind. And I do have that written down, and I forgot to mention it, but that is definitely one of those. Oh, it's so cheesy. It's cheesy, but it's great. Like it would be so good in an 80s action movie. Like what was the 80s action movie with Rutger Hauer did a movie in like the 90s or 80s where he like played a Vietnam guy who got blinded during Vietnam and like left for dead and got taken in by some like sword master in some Vietnamese fucking village. And so he comes back as like a blind sword master who like travels around America fighting people with his like sword staff cane. There's like a scene where he like cuts a dirty cop's hand off. It's got fucking Tex Cobb in it and shit. I fucking love Tex Cobb. Fuck off, man. That movie, it's great. So after this, we cut to this like penthouse where Joker is borderline dressed like Jared Leto Joker. He's got a robe on and shit and popping some bubbly and just looking at the chaos below him, just soaking it all in, enjoying it. And of course, Punchline starts bitching about Clown Hunter, and Joker's pleased as punch. He's like, "Oh, this kid's killing people, man. It's part of the chaos. The people are rising up. They're breaking Batman's codes because the rules are gone. This is exactly what I wanted. But kill him anyway, because that shit doesn't fucking fly in my town. Send some heavy hitters down there, and then we'll take care of Harley after that," which makes Punchline happy as shit. So after that, though, we go to Harley's kind of sanctuary that Poison Ivy built for under the city, her Eden. And it's this kind of weird, trippy, fucking James Cameron-esque Avatar sort of looking like little forest area. But she's taking him there to detox and gives Batman some fucking like some ayahuasca tea or some shit.
Magic mushroom tea or something.
That's the ayahuasca. He like vomits and sees like demons and shit.
Yeah, he that hits him immediately.
It really does. But she's like, yeah, this is going to detox you. You're going to trip balls for a little while, but I'm out of here. Just stay in the sanctuary and, let this shit go out of your system. And he trips for a second. Then we end with him seeing Alfred. Now it's like, we need to have a long talk, inside your subconscious, I guess. So that's where we end with Batman tripping fucking balls like he's at Bonnaroo. And he's going to talk to dead Alfred. Cool.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
This was a weird issue. It was a weird issue that it had like the stuff from the Joker side was stuff we need to get through, like them where the Clown Hunter fits in with all this, their plans with the chemicals and what they're going to do to the people. All that stuff moved the storyline forward. Everything with Batman was just him tripping balls and dealing with personal shit, which was funny. No, it was fine. It was fine. He's got to go through his traumatic bits of this so he can rise above and win in the end. He's got to go through something, and the something is him dealing with that Joker toxin and having all of his resources stripped away. Well, I guess not all of them because he found a fucking giant subterranean tank in the Detective Comics issue.
All of his known resources.
Fair enough. I mean, obviously, we can't say don't recommend it because if you're going to read the series, you're going to read all of them. But this was definitely a get us through issue. Mm-hmm. And so was last issue. Last issue was exposition issue. This one was, last one was Harley telling us what the Joker was doing. This one was seeing a little bit of Punchline and Joker were doing, and then us experiencing the Batman trauma. Mm-hmm. It was more interesting than the last issue though. Last issue was an exposition dump, to be short.
Yeah, it wasn't as intriguing as this one was.
Yeah, this one definitely got better. So the storyline's still good. I like seeing Batman on his heels. And it's usually by some like overlord type dude, because Joker usually plays a little more dirty and plays his games a little smaller, more personal. To see Joker do something grand scale, but still hit on those personal levels. I like the story a lot. I don't like it as much as Three Jokers, but then again, it's Jeff Johns.
Yeah, Jeff Johns is.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So on to Detective Comics 1026.
1026.
We are one away from the 1,000th appearance of Batman in Detective Comics. 999th episode of Batman in Detective Comics, with his first appearance being in issue 27. So this is a Killer Croc spotlight issue. And again, as far as how they relate to the story, we probably could have cut it off after the Harvey Dent one, as far as tie-ins go, if we're just telling the Joker War story. But this goes back to how it's affecting the villains and what they're doing while this is going on. Because we know that a large chunk of them are holed up in Penguin's.
The Ice Club.
Ice Club, yeah. And that's where they took Catwoman and stuff. But Killer Croc gets his spotlight issue here. And much like the Harvey Dent one, it's got a nice ending to it. That's pretty sweet. And this was my favorite one we read today, honestly.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I enjoyed it quite a lot.
Yeah, this is one of those one shots that, again, it's not necessary for the main story, but I would totally go pick it up, man. If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up. So we start with Killer Croc nabbing some people off the streets. He attacks some armored guards who have, are transferring money from a bank, but leaves the money. And like a block later, he grabs a couple other people and drags them underground. Batman goes under to the sewer to investigate. He's been following all this.
Yeah, it is. He's like, it's not like Croc to leave money behind.
Yeah. And when he gets in there, he hits the water. Of course, his bat suit takes a reading, and the water is toxic and will cause genetic mutation and then
And death.
eventually death. He follows the trail and the screams and stuff, and eventually comes across like Croc set up like fucking King Rat from Ninja Turtles with all of his like Ninja Turtle reject mutants standing around him.
Yeah.
Seriously, it was like the cast that was like too edgy for. It's like the comic book Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cast that was too edgy for the TV show.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think kids are going to buy these toys. Let's just put it away. It's
Yeah,
like Rizzo Rat
there's
and things like
A
that.
rat, a turtle. I think one was a raccoon.
Yeah, I don't recall. It didn't matter. Like they all got their little splash panel, but let's face it, they're here and gone in a second. So it's not worth trying to remember it, man. One of them looked like the Atlantean fish boy from Venture Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
But Batman gets down there and he's like, hey, I thought you turned over in relief, Croc. What the hell are you doing? Why are you nabbing people? And it's like, Joker's thugs blew up my hotel. So I came down here and siphoned off a bunch of their toxic sludge waste. And I'm going to build my own monster town down here. My group of friends, they were a bunch of like people who tried to stay away from the battle. They came down here to this underground bunker when Joker's thugs took over the Ace Chemical and spilled all the chemicals into the sewers. They got overrun by the chemicals and I rescued them, but they were changed. So that's why they were turned on to mutants and stuff. But he's like, but that's better than being dead. We're going to start our own civilization down here in our own town, and we're going to drag more people down here and we're going to save them. Like they may be, and we're going to make sure they drink this mutated water and they turn into mutants too. It's Futurama.
Yeah.
It's the Futurama mutants, sewer mutants with their toxic water that turns you into a mutant.
You want to understand something? Look at that lake. One dip in that toxic muck and your DNA will be permanently mutated. You'll grow a camel hump or a Zoidberg face.
It's just Croc is going to do it forcibly because he's going to save people by bringing them down there away from the Joker and turning them into mutants and living in his monster town, which honestly, not going to lie, would love to fucking read a whole comic book series of Monster Town.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to see what Croc does down there.
I wish that the ending here was good for a one-shot ending, but I wish that he had gotten out and started and gotten away to it. Let's talk about this when we talk about the ending real quick, because there's not a lot to this book, really. He goes down there, Croc explains what's going on like we just did, and they get into a fight. Batman disables all the other guys real quick, and Croc makes him a deal. He's like, tell you what, Batman, you put me down, I'll make sure we all go in peacefully. I put you down, you leave here and don't come again. He's like, Batman's like, not without the people you took. So he was even willing to give back the people he took too. And he's like, deal. He's like, just leave me and the people who are mutated fucking alone.
Yeah.
Like he was even willing to do that. Waylon's a all right guy.
Yeah.
So relatively, I suppose. But they fight and it just ends with Batman about to sling a fucking like piece of rebar with concrete at his head. And then it flashes to Arkham and they're all locked up. It's like, I guess he won that one.
Yeah.
Shit. The few panels they gave us were brutal, like Croc swinging Batman around by his cape. It's like, no capes.
Yeah.
Good fight scene, very concise because it needed to be. And I think it did a lot better. Like the last book, the Batman book we read felt a little like rushed in some places. Like they're just trying to get to, or not, excuse me, the DC book we read with Batgirl felt like they're at the cemetery. Now they're here. They're attacking this. It just felt really kind of rushed. This, there's so much less to it. You know what I mean? There's many less set pieces, but it let the whole thing kind of play out.
Yeah.
And it had its time to do what it needed to do. And I liked it so much better when you kept it simple and you did it in one shot comic. You didn't need a bunch of comics to do it. You told one short story that was deep, well thought out, had a heart to it. And, the Croc's locked up afterwards. Batman's at Arkham. Batman's telling everyone, you're going to get the best treatment you can. We'll try and reverse it if we can. Don't know. And he opens up Croc's cell and goes to sit with him. He's like, hey, thank you for honoring our agreement. And he's like, hey, I'm sorry. It's hard to fight this though. It's hard to fight these base instincts, It's like, well, just, try harder, Waylon. He's like, thanks for using my name. And they shake hands and stuff. Really sweet.
Yeah.
Really sweet ending. Just like with the matches Malone and Two-Face in the previous one or one before last, 1024. I like this one so much. I like these simple stories. And again, we don't need a world ender fucking beam in the sky every time we go into a comic book story. So this was nice. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I like it. And I think it kind of foreshadows what's going to happen with Future State in that kind of Batman kind of reconciles with all the villains who don't join Joker, and kind of like get their own piece of whatever's left of Gotham.
Guys, that was Bagged and Board. Joker War is definitely ramping up. And again, the overall, we got Punchline's first major influence in the story arc. We get our first appearance of Clown Hunter. So this storyline's got a lot of things in it that are worth picking up this for prosperity or for history's sake,
Mhm.
just to have. Not as good as Three Jokers so far, but it is good. The main storyline you should at least get. And I highly recommend at least the Detective Comics 1024 and 1026, the ones with Harvey and the one
Croc.
with Croc. That one's just a good story with a lot of heart, and it's done nice and concisely. You don't need anything else going in or out of it. It's a damn good story. So, anything else, man?
No, that's it for me.
Guys, thanks so much for joining us on Bagged and Board. We're going to have the conclusion of this in another 2 weeks. But until then, say howdy mother for me.